அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு. 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 அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு. இப்புவி தன்னில் ஏங்கி திரியாமல் சத்போத சுக சத்குருவானவர். இப்புவி தன்னில் ஏங்கி திரியாமல் சத்போத சுக சத்குருவானவர். செப்பாது சொன்ன தத்துவமாகிற செப்பாது சொன்ன தத்துவமாகிற ஒப்புயர்வில்லா ஓர் மொழியின்படி செப்பாது சொன்ன தத்துவமாகிற ஒப்புயர்வில்லா ஓர் மொழியின்படி அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு. தானல்ல ஐங்கோஷ க்ஷேத்திரமீதில் வளர்த்தான் என்னும் மானமாம் தானிய உளுந்தை. தானல்ல ஐங்கோஷ க்ஷேத்திரமீதில் வளர்த்தான் என்னும் மானமாம் தானிய உளுந்தை. நானாரஞான விசாரத்திரிகையில் நானாரஞான விசாரத்திரிகையில் நானல்ல என்றே உடைத்து பொடித்து. நானாரஞான விசாரத்திரிகையில் நானல்ல என்றே உடைத்து பொடித்து. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு. சத்சங்கமாகும் பிரண்டை ரசத்தோடு சமதமமாகின்ற ஜீரகமிளகுடன். சத்சங்கமாகும் பிரண்டை ரசத்தோடு சமதமமாகின்ற ஜீரகமிளகுடன் உபரதியாகும் அவ்வுப்போடுள்ள நல்வாசனையாம் பெருங்காயமும் சேர்த்து. உபரதியாகும் அவ்வுப்போடுள்ள நல்வாசனையாம் பெருங்காயமும் சேர்த்து. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு. கல் நெஞ்சில் நான் நான் என்று கலங்காமல் உள்முக உலக்கையால் ஓயாதிடுத்து. கல் நெஞ்சில் நான் நான் என்று கலங்காமல் உள்முக உலக்கையால் ஓயாதிடுத்து. சாந்தமாம் குழவியால் சமமான பலகையில் சாந்தமாம் குழவியால் சமமான பலகையில் சந்ததம் சலிப்பர சந்தோஷமாகவே சந்ததம் சலிப்பர சந்தோஷமாகவே. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு. அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு. മോനമുദ്രയാകും മുടിവില്ലാ പാത്രത്തിൽ ജ്ഞാനാഗ്നിയാൽ കായും നർബ്രഹ്മനെയ്യതിൽ മോനമുദ്രയാകും മുടിവില്ലാ പാത്രത്തിൽ ജ്ഞാനാഗ്നിയാൽ കായും நற்பிரம்மனையதில் நானதுவாகவே நாளும் பொறித்து நானதுவாகவே நாளும் பொறித்து நானதுவாகவே நாளும் பொறித்து தானே தானாக பூஜிக்க தன்மய தானே தானாக பூஜிக்க தன்மய அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு அத்தை சாப்பிட்டுன் ஆசையை தீரு அப்பளமிட்டு பாரு ஆ
Namaskaram and welcome to the fourth episode of the Ramana Sudhamritam series. Until now, we looked at a quick snapshot of the life history of Bhagavan. Today and tomorrow, we shall be relishing some beautiful incidents in the life of Bhagavan and his devotees. These incidents in the life of any Mahatma or Jnani is very important for sadhakas, because it is these that we can do anusandhanam, we can meditate on, we can ponder over, think over again and again. And this is what will act as a great accelerator in our sadhana or upasana as well. Primarily, I have drawn these incidents, I have taken reference of these incidents from the discourses of Nochur Venkatraman Anna, Ganeshan Anna, and also the beautiful book that Ganeshan Anna has brought out, Ramana Periya Puranam, which has the life of nearly 75 devotees and the key incidents in the lives of these devotees. So based on all this is what I'm going to be sharing, very few because we don't have much time. So I'll be just sharing certain glimpses of the incidents and the events over today and tomorrow. When you take the Bhagavad Gita, one of the key traits of a bhakta that Krishna says, he says, Adveshta sarvabhutana maitra karuna evaja nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukha sukakshami. And that samatvam, he emphasizes a lot in many places in the Gita. Samatvam yoga uchyate. He says yoga is to be in samatvam, balance. And what is that samatvam? Free from the dvandva or the opposites, labha labhau, jaya jayau, and so on. Sukha dukha, ushna, shita. So from all kinds of opposites to be indifferent. Now this is very easy to read. When you read it, it is very easy to understand. But to put it into practice, if we just give a bit of thought, we will find that it seems next to impossible. But this is what is one of the beautiful traits that you will find in the incidents related to Bhagavan. Especially the view of a Jnani, how he practices samatvam. It's something amazing when we read these incidents in the life of Bhagavan. One thing was that at Ramanashramam, when lunch was being served, when food was being served, Bhagavan made it a point that he would always be served the last, after everybody else is served. There would be no special attention given to him. There is no special food items or delicacies or special treatment that is given to him during lunch. So whatever is being served to everyone only will be served to Bhagavan. And even if somebody brings something, it will be distributed to everybody equally. It seems once one of the devotees, she was very fond of Bhagavan. So she brought various items of different tastes. Something was sour, something was sweet, something was spicy. So multiple varieties she brought. And she gave it to Bhagavan, giving details of each and every item and putting it on the plate of Bhagavan. So Bhagavan very keenly listened to all those descriptions, and finally he mixed all of them together and ate it. She felt so sad. She said, Bhagavan, I have been explaining to you the details and the interesting points of each and every delicacy. I wanted you to taste them separately. You mixed all of them. Bhagavan says, you take enjoyment or you relish Dvaitam or multiplicity. I relish Advaitam. I enjoy Advaitam. And that is why this is what makes sense to me, or this gives me enjoyment. During the time of when the Ramanashramam was coming up and devotees were coming in, at that time the administrator and the management at Ramanashramam, they felt that having Bhagavan, having the darshan of Bhagavan and people leaving people for darshan the whole day is going to be taxing on Bhagavan. So at least we must give some time for Bhagavan where he can take rest. Maybe after the lunch time, after Bhagavan goes for the round across Arunachala and comes back, after that we should not disturb Bhagavan for a few hours, and then only we should restart the darshan. So deciding like that amongst themselves, they put a board outside the hall in which Bhagavan used to be there. They said that from, I think, say from 2 to 4 p.m. or something like that, a particular timing was given. Between this time, no darshan or no entry is allowed into the hall. They put up a notice like that. The very next day, they found that after walking, Bhagavan has come and he's sitting at the doorstep of the hall. So suddenly, when somebody noticed that, they came rushing to Bhagavan. They asked Bhagavan, Bhagavan, why are you sitting outside in this heat? Why don't you go inside? So Bhagavan says, I just saw this notice which says that nobody is allowed to enter this hall between this period of time. So I thought I also will stand outside. That was the way Bhagavan used to teach people that there is no special attention to be given to him. Another beautiful incident. During the Annamalai Deepam, the Kartigai Deepam at Annamalai, of course, devotees throng in hundreds and thousands to get a glimpse of Annamalayan and have the Jodi Darshanam. And many of the inmates, the inhabitants of Tiruvannamalai, used to come and visit Bhagavan on that day. They used to visit the entire Arunachala hill. They will do the Pradakshina. They will go and dip themselves in each of the tirthas. It seems there are nearly 365 tirthas in and around that hill of Arunachala. One tirtha per day. So you have so many ponds, tirthas, tanks in and around Arunachala hill. So they used to visit all those, the inhabitants, the illiterate people, the inhabitants of Tiruvannamalai. So on this day, they will come, they will take a dip in all those tanks, and they used to come after taking all dip in all those tanks. They used to come directly to see Bhagavan, because Bhagavan, right from his childhood, he's been there. Right from his age of 16, he's been there in Tiruvannamalai. So he knows all those people very well, and they also know Bhagavan. They know Bhagavan as one among them. So they used to interact like that with Bhagavan. So they all know Bhagavan. They used to give food to Bhagavan when during those early days, the childhood days, growing up days. They used to feed Bhagavan. So they were very intimate, and Bhagavan knew all of them by name, their family members, details, everything Bhagavan knew. So on this day, on the Annamalai Deepam day, all of them, along with their families and everybody, they used to take all these dips in these tanks, and then they used to come and see Bhagavan. They used to go. This used to happen every year. One year, what happened? The management thought that all these people are very poor, illiterate people. So they are people who do different kind of labor work. So they don't have nice clothes. So some of them don't even have clothes, very shabby clothes, dirty clothes. So they will take bath in all these tanks, and with all that water dripping from their body, they will come and visit Bhagwan. So the management thought this is very unclean and unkempt, to do this kind of a thing, and to subject Bhagavan to this kind of a torture, that he has to sit there, and all through the day these people will be coming and seeing Bhagavan, and Bhagavan has to keep sitting there. So let's do one thing, and all of them will touch Bhagavan with all their shabby clothes and everything. So let's do one thing. Let Bhagavan's cot. Bhagavan used to lie down on a cot. You can see those photographs of Bhagavan, where Bhagavan lies on a cot. Beautiful pictures are there. So he used to lie down on the cot. So they said, let's keep the cot where it is, but there is a barricade in front of that, at which the devotees typically come. Let us extend that barricade further so that people see Bhagavan only at a distance. They will not come close to Bhagavan. So management decided that, and they asked that the attendant who was at that point of time, they asked him to put the barricade very far from Bhagavan. They said, but don't do it when Bhagavan is there, because Bhagavan will not like these kind of things. So when Bhagavan has gone for a round around Arunachala, at that time do this. So Bhagavan may not notice it and he will leave it. So this is all the human mind thinking. So the attendant agreed, and the attendant, when Bhagavan had gone for a walk, the attendant started doing this. And to his surprise, suddenly Bhagavan returned back. When he was still completing this activity, Bhagavan came back. So he asked the attendant, what are you doing? So he said, I'm just putting this barricade. So then Bhagavan said, Bhagavan did not say don't do it. Bhagavan never felt that ashram was his. He was one among the inmates of the ashram. That is how Bhagavan's attitude was. So the management will say, he will also follow what the management says. He was considering himself as one of the people in the ashrama. That's all. But he has the responsibility to teach people the right way. If they're wrong, he has to tell them it is wrong. So he told the attendant, okay, you have obeyed whatever the management has told you. Now you do me a help. You take my cot and put it close to the barricade. The attendant said, oh Bhagavan, those people are saying out of concern for you. You have to keep sitting there whole day long. People will touch you. They will, touch your feet, touch your hand with all their dirty, shabby clothes. Bhagavan told him, oh, do you think that way? You think that, these illiterate and poor people are coming from nowhere and they are disturbing the place and polluting this place? Is that the way you are thinking? Then listen from me. That is not how it is. Each and every one of them is nothing but a replica of Arunachala himself. It is Arunachala himself who is coming on that day here to give us darshan. So I must be fortunate to have darshan of all those Arunachalas on that day. It is not the reverse that they are coming to have my darshan. No, I am having their darshanam on that day. That is why I keep sitting there and I see each and every one of them, because I am having the darshanam of Arunachala on that day. So many Arunachalas coming at one point of time. You see the attitude of Bhagavan. A very similar incident relating to his mother Azhagammal. As I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, Azhagammal, after the initial strives and Bhagavan not accepting or not replying back to her, she was feeling depressed and all. But the turn of events in life, Azhagammal returned back for good to stay with Bhagavan. She wanted to be with Bhagavan. So she came and stayed with Bhagavan. But as I had mentioned, she was a very orthodox lady. She has been brought up like that. So she will follow all the Madi, Acharam, Anushtanam, everything she will follow. And one of the key things that she used to follow is, once anybody, she will make food for herself. She will make all the food with directly coming out from the bath, nobody else touching it, in a very clean and pure way. She will have that food, and then until she has the food, she cannot distribute the food to anybody else. If anybody else has that food before, then she will not eat that food. So she had all these uh, belief systems with her. So one day what happened is, it was well into the midday. Everybody's lunch was over, and Aragammal was about to have, and she used to have lunch after everybody had, so that there is no concern of any sort. So she was about to have lunch. At that point of time, a few inhabitants of Annamalai, the inmates of Annamalai, some of them are not having clothes, some of them are shabby clothes, all of them, they came and cried in front of Bhagavan. A few of them came and cried in front of Bhagavan, Bhagavan, please give us some food, we are so hungry. Something must have happened, they must have not got their food that day, they must have missed their lunch, or whatever be the reason. They came and cried in front of Bhagavan, oh Bhagavan, please give us some food, we are feeling so hungry. Bhagavan really melted, and he told Kunjaswami, one of the devotees, please go inside the kitchen and take the food that Amma would have prepared anyways. Just take the food and bring and distribute it to them. Kunjaswami knew the belief systems of Amma, of Mother Aragammal. So he was a bit hesitant, but because Bhagavan said, he went inside. But then when he told this to Aragammal, Aragammal said, but I have not eaten the food yet. So if I distribute it to anybody else, then I will not be having the food. So Kunjaswami came back and told this to Bhagavan. Bhagavan asked Kunjaswami to bring Aragammal. And Bhagavan is telling his mother, he says, he tells to Aragammal, do you know who they are? Those people who have come, those inmates of Arunachala. Do you know who they are? So Amma is like curious. Who are they? He says, they are Arunachala. They are nothing but Arunachala. They've come here. Arunachala himself has come here to take bhiksha, to take annadana from us. Why don't we give the food to Arunachala himself when he has come here? Shouldn't we give him food? The moment Bhagavan says this, see, when the Guru shows the way, when the Guru says, Tattvamasi, you are that Brahman, that word is very simple. We also keep reading Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. We also read in the books, but we never get the experience of that self. But when that Guru who is established, who is a Brahmanishtha, who is established in that self, he tells you that you are that, it is not just the word, it is the power behind that that comes and hits you, and you are automatically established in that. The same words, but told by the right person. So here, when Bhagavan tells Aragammal, this is Arunachala, she had the darshana of Arunachala there. She saw Arunachala in them, and immediately she brought all the food and gave it to them. From then on, all these traditional beliefs of Amma just vanished away. And slowly Bhagavan started removing all these from Aragammal, and finally, when Amma was on the deathbed, Bhagavan stayed with Aragammal for many hours beside Aragammal, keeping his hand on her chest and on her head continuously for many hours together, until he ensured that her soul, because it is said in the Upanishads also, during the last moments, you are given a glimpse of all the past janmas, all the karmas that you have done. You are given a quick snapshot. And naturally you are now going, because of all this, you get afraid, and naturally you fall into samsara again. Krishna says in the Gita that what you think of the last moment when you're dying is what you become in your next birth. So Bhagavan stays there with his mother. All the vasanas are getting exhausted with the presence of a jnani nearby. And finally, he ensures that the soul gets subsumed there itself and doesn't leave the body. It just gets subsumed there, and she attains mukti. she attains liberation. She attains self-establishment, self-realization. So Bhagavan, he did what a putra is supposed to do. The word putra itself is the one who trayate, the tra suffix is there. The tra suffix is trayate. Trayate from where? Protect from where? From the samsara. The one who helps you protect from, who protects you from the samsara and takes you across, he is your putra or putri. So the terms putra or putri indicate the people who are protecting you and saving you from the samsara. And that was, Bhagavan remained true to that word, and he ensured that Mother Azhagammal attains self-realization. And then later on, Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni, it was he who insisted that Bhagavan build a temple over the samadhi of Azhagammal, and it should not be cremated, it should only be buried, and a temple has to be built because she has attained a realization, she has attained a samadhi. So she is a jnani, and therefore a samadhi has to be built over her, and it was called as Matru Bhuteshwara Lingam. So you can now also see the Matru Bhuteshwara Sannidhi. The lingam was placed on top of that, and this is called as Matru Bhuteshwarar because of the motherly aspect that was predominant there. So many episodes in the life of Bhagavan. We shall continue. I'm heavily restricted by time, by the paucity of time, but we shall continue with these incidents and interesting events in our next episode tomorrow. Until then, do keep watching the events on Subhu's Corner. Until we meet next for our episode tomorrow, Namaskaram.